Hello and welcome to Best Sips Worldwide. I'm your drinking companion, Susan Schwartz, an American travel writer living in London. Thanks to my mother's love of martinis, the first words I spoke were shaken, not stirred, and I've been obsessed by the history of cocktails ever since. Through the years, I've been lucky enough to sip some of the best made by the best. Hear that sound? It's time to cozy up to the bar and let me introduce you to the movers and shakers of the world's most famous watering holes. I drink at a lot of bars and sometimes dream about opening my own, but then I wake up. Anne Frey is still living that dream. She talks to us this week about the origins of her bar, One Tippling Place, and how it made it onto Food and Wine magazine's list of best speakeasies and cocktail lounges in America.
I was working with a friend of my daughter's from Scotland, who works at White Light in London now, Robin Hanhold, and we were trying to think of a name. And the streets in Philadelphia are called like Waverly Place and Addison Place, Delancey Place. So we said, let's call it Tippling Place, just like an address.
Like an address. Now, what were you, Scotland? You mentioned Scotland, you mentioned White Lion.
Yeah, so my daughter went to the University of St. Andrews, so I spent a lot of time there. And one summer I actually lived in her flat for 2 months because there was nobody in school and nobody was using it. And so I got friendly with a lot of the bar people in St. Andrews, and there are a lot of bars in St. Andrews. And Robin Hanhold was a bartender at the Gulf Hotel there. And so I got to know him a little bit. And then when I decided to start a bar, he was in Australia bartending and had to leave. So I had him come to Philadelphia and he helped out. And then the government wouldn't let him stay.
Well, he's back at White Lion.
Yes,
We won't feel so sorry.
No, he did just fine. He went to Bramble and Edinburgh first. He's fine.
Now, being in Scotland and meeting lots of bartenders or going to bars and actually opening a bar, coming back to Philadelphia and opening a bar, that's a big leap. Not everyone who goes to bars in St. Andrews open a bar in Philadelphia. So you were living in Philadelphia. Talk me through.
I often wonder how this happened. I've lived in Center City, Philadelphia, for 35 years. And I came home one night and said to my husband, there are a lot of people on the street. And then somebody in the neighborhood suggested that why don't you open a bar? And I said, oh, maybe I will. And then I started, and then I couldn't stop.
So how did you find this place?
Oh, it was vacant. It had been a horrible piano bar, a bad piano bar, and had gone out of business. And it was vacant. And I lived right up the street, and I was just looking around and approached the person that owned the building. And then I had to gut the place. I sometimes wonder how I did this.
Well, obviously it was a passion.
Yeah, I guess. I'm 60-something or other, and I had been selling real estate for a while, and that kind of dried up. I had been an actor for 30 years, and I really was not interested in doing that much more because it's just a lot of work. My daughter was graduating from university, so I didn't have motherhood to worry about. Well, and so I kind of wanted something different. Mm-hmm. And I always liked to drink. I don't drink nearly as much as I used to. And so we needed a bar in the neighborhood too. We still don't really have a neighborhood bar. We have a lot of neighbors who come in, but they're always here early. Yeah. The shift changes at 8:30. Yeah. And then Wharton School at Penn has been incredible.
Fantastic, because I read somewhere that you said you wanted to open a bar for people like you.
I did.
Where it was quiet and you could hear yourself talk.
Yeah, and it is
the
that
sophistication of the drinks
right.
that you wanted. Being a Philadelphian myself, I do know that the city has changed a lot for the past 10 years. And what I was going to ask is, in the 4 years that you've opened, if that still is your MO, or has it changed? Now, you brought up Wharton. So I was
I
just
think that
wondering
they think it's a sophisticated place. I think that the grad students in town think when they come here, they're coming to that place that I described as the kind of place I would like, although it isn't the kind of place that I really like when it gets filled up with university students. But I'm happy to have them. And so they behave nicely. They think they're going to a nice place to drink.
Do you think it's that the university students have changed and are now more sophisticated drinkers?
Well, the Wharton students are older. A lot of them work for a few years after school and come back. So those kids, a lot of them are from New York. They worked in New York for a couple of years. I know that my nephew did that. He went to New York and then came back and went to Wharton. So that group is right. We get very few college students, undergrads, which is probably a good thing. The law.
Yeah, because I think that, since I live in London now, and it's all about cocktails all the time,
right.
And that it's, I feel that New York is one step behind that. And then maybe Philadelphia is just a teeny stop behind that. I mean, how do you feel
London
about
is
that?
definitely the mothership, I think. Probably because of Robin's influence. I've never really paid much attention to what went on in New York because we're their poor stepsister anyway. So there's no reason to compete. And for me, I haven't really tried to compete with anyone because you're never gonna. You can't be what somebody else is. No matter how well you try, you can't. So we kind of have a little bit different take. We're very whiskey heavy for a cocktail bar. And I guess we try to be all things to all people. But as I try to get more of the London model than the New York model. I mean,
Because of
I'm
your
more
time
interested.
there.
I'm more interested in the London model, yeah.
And so when you brought over Robin, how did you create the menu? Or
Actually, Robin had gone by the time the menu was.
so then
Yes.
what?
Okay, so then I hired a man named Dave Tang, who had been trained with Sasha Petresky, who started Milk and Honey. He was really the cocktail guru everywhere. He died last summer. And Sasha had trained the people at Randstad Room, which is a bar around the corner. Dave worked there, and Sasha came in regularly and trained everybody. So I hired Dave as the manager, and Dave trained everybody with that method. We have large ice cubes and very measured. They're Randstad has carved ice. We don't do the hand carving. We have cold draft cubes. And everything's measured and everything's fresh. We squeeze ginger and limes and lemons and grapefruits every day. So that's the model, and I think that's a London model.
Yeah, I think it's really now everyone who I interviewed definitely they really make a special effort to make sure that every single ingredient in the drink is worthy of being in that drink.
It makes a difference. We make a lot of our own bitters. We make sour cherry bitters in July, and we do it seasonally. And a lot of we don't use that many syrups or tinctures, but whatever we use, we make. Like we do the Clover Club, which has raspberry syrup, and I make the raspberry syrup.
And I think that sophisticated drinker who is coming from Wharton here kind of demands that now.
You
and
can
that's why
taste
you
this. You
still
can taste the
exist.
difference. You really can.
Uh-huh.
There's a bar in town that shall remain nameless. It's a very expensive bar in a hotel, and they use box juice for. They say you're getting fresh yuzu in your drink, and you're not. If you question them closely enough, they'll tell you that you're not.
They show you the box.
Yeah, and
right?
it doesn't taste the same. Mm-hmm. They don't even have fresh strawberries and things. I mean, whenever we have a fruit in the drink, it is a fresh fruit, either muddled or it's juiced. So it makes a huge difference. And the good liquor makes a big difference too. So
Now, I know that you have a relationship with India.
yes,
In Mumbai.
yes.
And maybe you could talk to us about that.
So 2 years ago, I went to a wedding in India, and I hated India, frankly. But I was kind of amazed and fascinated. And then last summer, I was talking to a friend of mine who's an artist, and he's very well read on things. And I was thinking it's time to open another bar. And he said, why don't you go to Mumbai? So I'm going to tell you the whole story, even though you're probably going to have to cut most of this out. So,
Oh, no, I want to hear the whole story.
I went to Iceland. I went to Iceland last August.
All right, I can't wait to hear where this goes. Consider Iceland is not anywhere near Mumbai.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was that day. And there was an actor there named Shahrukh Khan.
Of course.
Okay,
One of
so
the most
I
famous
met him.
actors in the world.
Yeah, so I met him. Kind of met him. I met him. And that kind of spurred this weird Bombay trip for me. So my birthday was the following week. So my daughter and the bar staff gave me a birthday party. And everybody came in Indian clothing because there was a big to-do having met this actor. They gave me a life-size cutout of him, which is back there for selfies. And I left the bar that night with Miss Martha Graham Cracker, who is a drag queen performer who's really good. And we went to a bar down the street, and some man saw me in my sari and came up to me and said, I heard you own one Tippling Place. It's my favorite bar. I'm from New York, but I come down and I go to this bar. Why are you wearing a sari? I said, well, I want to open a bar in India. And so he said, well, I can help you with that. I said, really? And yeah, I gave him my card. And 3 days later, a man called from New York who owns Bulldog Gin Company, who happens to be Indian. And he said, yeah, I really like the idea. You need a partner, which I do. I'm going to set you up. I'm introduce you to, via email to my friend Ramola Bachchan. I don't know if you know Amitabh Bachchan. He's more famous than Shahrukh Khan in India. And she'll help you because she's been in the business. She introduced me to this man, A.D. Singh, who owns the Olive Bar and Kitchen in Mumbai and 30 other restaurants. And so he said, sure, come talk to me. So I went to Mumbai last January by myself and met him. And he said, well, right now I have places in Delhi, and I didn't want to be in Delhi. Delhi is really a much different kind of place. He said, well, what do you want? I said, oh, okay, well, how about I do a pop-up at Olive Bar and Kitchen? And he said, fine. So I did that in March, and he was obviously happy with it and wanted me to come back. I think he wanted me to go to Hyderabad, but I'm still focusing on opening my own place in Mumbai. Mm-hmm. And I'm still looking for him to be a partner, frankly. And I've made that clear. So we're going back now for another 6 weeks, taking over the bar. It's a little more thorough this time. We're going to bring some of the paintings and do a little more work on the decor.
And so you'll be going back and forth and back and forth?
Yeah.
And
I did it like I know.
You are going back and forth and back and
I've
forth.
gotten used to it somehow. I don't know how. I hate flying. I went Emirates first class. That's what
nice.
sold me. Those airline miles are wonderful. Yeah. So it just wasn't that unpleasant. Mm-hmm. And now I'm doing British Air. It leaves from Philadelphia. And it's a nice 3-hour layover. Time to go out and have a cigarette.
Now, the menu that you will use there, will that be India influenced or will be that definitely Philadelphia?
What we did was when we came back from India, we have some drinks on the menu. Now they're Indian influenced. So that's a Mediterranean restaurant. So I thought this time we're going to do some aperitifs and digestives, which is brand new there. They don't have that on it. There's a lot of the cocktail culture, which is, bars are, since we left in April, I think 3 new bars have opened just in Bandra, cocktail bars. And it's it seems to focus most on using Indian natural resources, which is great, but it's not everything. So, they don't have lemons there. We have to get Italian lemons. What they call lemons are different. Mm-hmm. So it certainly has been fun, and the people are really nice. We've met a lot of nice people, and I'm learning something at my age. And so even if it doesn't pan out at the end of the day, I've certainly had a good time.
No, it sounds wonderful.
Yeah, and I bring a bartender with me.
Mm-hmm. How long will your pop-up be?
This one is the entire month of November.
November.
Yeah.
Okay, do you hear that, everyone? November.
November in Mumbai, at Tally Hill, at Olive.
At Olive.
Yeah. So it's interesting. We met a man came in, a writer came in. It turns out his mother-in-law lives next door to me in Philadelphia. She's a realtor. Small world. So this time, it's a lot more thorough. The menu's going to be more thorough. We served their menu and our menu last time. We're not going to do that this time. We're just serving our menu. And trying to get some decorative things of ours in there. Because I think that the whimsy here is kind of part of why people...
Absolutely.
Like
this is your brand here. Yeah. And that's what they want to see there.
Yeah. I mean,
because
I think
if they want an Indian bar, they can go to an Indian bar.
That's right.
They
There's a lot of
They
them.
want one Tippling Place.
Yeah. Well, we hope.
Let's go make a drink.
All right.
I know I can't wait to get to Mumbai to toast the new One Tippling Place. Thanks so much to Anne for sitting down with us this week. The Greeks have been drinking mastika since Hippocrates was the Surgeon General. Why is it only now that we non-Greeks are enjoying its benefits? Next time on Best Sips, George Economides, not only an Oxford grad in advanced quantum mechanics and a full blue in dance sport, but also co-founder and general manager of Mastika World, introduces us to the spirit that has been around since the 5th century BC. Until next time, bottoms up. For more information and links to everything you've heard about, plus a bit more, please visit bestbitsworldwide.com. Thanks for listening to Best Sips Worldwide, a spin-off of Best Bits Worldwide. Always remember the wise words of Oscar Wilde, all things in moderation, including moderation, and never drink and drive. Okay, I said that last part. Theme music is by Steven Shapiro and used with permission. You'll find me at the bar